My head. Hello, everybody, and welcome to It's the Liquor Talking right here on WCRN AM 830, and we are broadcasting live from the cold storage studios of Julio's Liquors down in the Metro Station. You want to know all the full boat of stuff that's going on? You should probably go to juliosliquors.com. And we're also simulcasting on Facebook Live. So you can go to Julio's Liquors Facebook page. And then Cousin Vinny takes this whole big mess and he puts it up wherever you can find your podcast. Just look for It's the Liquor Talk, such on Spotify and so forth. Joining me on the dais today.
Well, after all that introduction, I think we all need a drink. And I want to do some birthday wishes with this.
Okay. Well, that's Randall Bird for everybody who doesn't know. The one, the only Randall Bird. And joining us also on the dais today, because El Rey is on vacation, is Frisky Whiskey himself, John Hendricks.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Hey, I know. You know
Had
what?
to get that in.
You know what?
You're a man from Buffalo, New York.
I am.
Otherwise, I would not understand what you're talking about.
So Buffalo is playing Kansas City. And I ordered a Kansas City shirt because I knew you were going to be a Buffalo guy. So I ordered my Kansas City shirt. Here's my Kansas City shirt that just came in.
Is that a referee's jersey?
It is a referee's jersey.
Or is it a Kansas
It's
City
a Kansas.
jersey?
Why can't it be both, John? Why can't it be both?
Choose one, baby.
So there's my John and I each have our football jerseys on today.
Yeah. Somebody turn on the lights because I'm completely in the dark here about what you're talking about.
Well,
apparently
put it this
it's
way.
sports kind of talky thing.
It's a sports kind of thing. It's no one can touch Patrick Mahomes. The refs are sort of the what's that, the 13th player or something like that.
I mean, even when defensive players run into each other
gonna get
around
so
Patrick
much-
Mahomes, like, don't even hit him, he still gets the.
The only way I know, I'm just gonna get so roasted on Facebook today. But John's a Bills fan, so listen.
Born into it.
I gotta say, I was a Patriots fan when they couldn't win to save their lives, which I think we're back at that point now. But I'm still a Patriots fan. I do not want Kansas City to win. I really want Josh Allen in Buffalo to
I think
take
that's
that
how
down
most of the fans of NFL are
at this point.
going.
So-
Anybody but Kansas City.
Why aren't we starting with a drink?
Oh yeah, let's start with the drink, Randall. Randall has some announcements to make. I will pour the drink of the show. Do you want to?
I just want to do
you want to do a thing?
We're in a series of Burns supper nights because today, the 25th, is the birthday of Robert Burns,
Robbie
the poet
Burns
of Scotland, world renowned. For folks who don't know, in a rough equivalent, it would be like the St. Patrick's Day for Irish and Irish people around the world. Robert Burns' birthday and Burns suppers are the celebration of Scotland. And I have quite the hangover from last night because I ate way too much haggis at the Burns supper.
I'm going to let everybody in on the. I'm going to let sort of everybody in on the joke because I run across a couple people about talking about Burns dinners and they've had the same misinformation.
Yeah.
We joke about haggis actually being a creature,
right?
And out there and hunting wild haggis, and
or
all
the
the
haggai,
or the haggai, or the haggai.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. It's like a unicorn,
right?
But we eat haggis at celebrations such as Robert Burns Night.
So yeah, it was like a food that was like kind of trash food, right? I mean, it was making do with stuff that you had left over from the animal.
When you killed something like a lamb or a sheep, you ate everything.
Right. You weren't like throwing stuff away. But the funny part in the Burns supper is that they pipe in the haggis and they make a whole big deal about it. And I was trying to explain to somebody last night, it would be the equivalent of hosting a parade for a hot dog. It's tongue in cheek.
It's tongue in cheek, right?
But people thought it was serious, like people like worship this haggis
Right.
meal, and it's supposed to be some
How
culinary
vicious are
piece
they?
of excellence, but it's just really they as a joke he did an ode to the haggis,
Right.
right? And he elevated what was common, what would be now be like street food or whatever,
Right.
to this like kind of ridiculous level, and it's all an
It
inside
was the
joke,
people. It was one of the people's food because that's what they could eat.
right?
You know.
And everybody knew about it, so he made a big stink about it and wrote this eloquent poem. But in the reality, the whole joke is that it's not, the poem is satirical. in some
Satirical.
sense,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. So
Anyway,
So
again,
today-
we're still talking, not drinking. So I
okay.
don't
So
know.
today we are drinking Single Cask Nation, who is an independent bottler, and we love that. Fettercan. This is a new barrel charred oak barrel 2 years. It's an 11-year-old. This is a Highland, obviously, September 12th. It was distilled. September 2012, it was distilled, bottled in July 2024. So only 182 bottles of this, and it's at 59.7 ABV.
Yep.
So if the studio audience wants to come up, they can pour themselves a haggis, so we can haggis, a better can,
Better Cairn, single malt.
single malt.
From a distillery that not a lot of people know about. It's what's in our coffee mugs, even though that's nobody's business in New England. But we're happy to tell you, happy birthday
To
to
Robbie
Robert
Burns.
Burns, the immortal memory of Robert Burns, and enjoy at least thinking about Scotland today. It's got some cold weather.
And isn't one of the toasts to the lasses?
Two lasses.
That's
and
one
two
of them.
lads.
Then there's a response back. There's a whole formal thing. And the other thing that's interesting to me is I was trying to explain a Burns supper. It's
Yeah.
like a wedding reception.
Correct.
There's certain things that have to happen,
Yep.
but everyone's been to a wedding reception. So if you didn't cut the cake and you didn't throw the bouquet and you didn't do the father-daughter dance, you'd be like, what's going on?
Right.
It's the same thing, but just different traditions that have to kind of proceed in order for it to be an official Burns supper.
And the
people
Burns
do
supper after-
modern takes on it too.
Yeah, and the Burns supper really happened after Robert Burns had passed.
Right. It was,
It's
a memorial.
memorial sort of service for him, and sort of morphed into this whole sort of traditional thing. And it's a lot of fun. So if you get a chance to go to a Burns supper, you should really go. It is
Right.
a lot of fun, and
you
you'll
don't
eat some
have to be
haggis.
kilted, but some
You don't
people
have to be
will
kilted.
probably be there.
Yeah.
In kilt.
I do have to ask, how was the haggis? Because like I've had really, really good haggis, and I've had not so good haggis.
So-
I didn't have it. Randall just did a dinner last night. So how was your haggis?
So
last night?
they actually did a twist on haggis. So it was, to me, so folks that may be listening or haven't seen what an actual serving of haggis looks like, is like when they cut open the casing like a sausage, it's kind of loose because there's grain and meat.
Yeah.
And this was like a pretty tight sausage, almost like a bratwurst or a knockwurst.
So it was a little on the dry side.
Yeah, and it was not granular, and there wasn't a lot of grain. They did the meat products in it,
Yeah.
so they tried to make an updated version that wouldn't scare people off. But
I
at
mean,
the
a
same time-
haggis originally has like heart, lung, all this other stuff
Right.
in
Sure.
it, but it's heavily seasoned.
Yeah.
This is like, when you
to
want to
me,
eat
it tastes
pumpkin.
like peppery bologna.
Well,
like,
actually,
like black pepper.
Kinda.
On,
With the consistency of hamburger helper.
okay,
right,
so
like it's granular.
the one that I in especially being in this area of New England, a lot of people may sort of pick up on. You ever had French meat stuffing? Like
Oh,
a
I've
French
had
meat,
that.
French meat. My grandmother used to make French meat stuffing, which was, it's basically like a hamburger, but they use so many seasonings and stuff like that
Right.
that you would like put in a turkey or a chicken or something like that. But the flavoring and stuff like that is very, very similar to haggis. I mean, you should definitely try it. We don't have the same haggis that they have overseas because we can't put all the same stuff in it. Randall and I have had the Queen's haggis.
The Queen's haggis.
So
What-
the-
Boy,
her-
was she pissed.
Yeah, she was not happy with us. Not
Were
happy.
did you have the Queen's haggis? Were you guys like taste testers to make sure it wasn't poison?
No,
Yeah,
it was we get it from the
After
same
the fact, we
purveyor.
figured out. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
we get it from the same purveyor. Does the Queen's haggis. So that was probably one of the best haggis
Haggai?
Yeah.
that I've
One
had.
of the best I've ever had has been a deep fried at a chippy shop.
Chippy shop.
They did a haggis, and it was like almost like a giant.
Anything
egg
fried
roll.
is usually better, anyways, right?
The best ones I had was in Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Properly prepared. It was delicious. The ones I had here were on the dry side.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I mean, it's good stuff. It's always like one of those things that you should definitely try. Like you should try. It's
Sure.
one of those dare foods you should definitely try once in your
But
lifetime.
it's not.
I like it.
yeah,
I think that's
I
quite
do-
good.
I
But
do too.
whatever.
The properly prepared.
And this was all prepared, interestingly enough, by the culinary program at UMass Amherst.
Oh, okay.
Was like doing the prep, so I'm sure they took recipes.
Right.
Everything
And-
tasted fantastic, but it wasn't what I would call like super ultra traditional.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Get us out of here. We're going to.
So one sip, and you now know it's the liquor talking. But this is WCRN AM 830 on your radio. We're going to take a commercial break, be back on the other side. And during that break, we're also going to do some video stuff if you want to check it out on Facebook Live. Or
Yeah, go to
something.
Julio's Liquors Facebook Live and do the show within the show.
Happy birthday, Robert Burns, and we'll be back right after these commercial messages.
All right. All right. So I want to do one more thing since we have our scotch with us today, and we're sort of doing some toast. A friend of ours
Yep.
just passed away this past week. David Sweet, and in the industry, if you're in the whiskey industry, first of all, Dave was just a super nice guy. I mean, there was go out of his way to help you. Really, really nice. He basically started the Whiskey Lives, which were
Big
like
events.
big events across the country, and that morphed into whiskey barrel nights that he was doing. But just one of the key people in the industry. I've known him for years. Always a kind word and always very helpful man. Very sad to see that he passed away unexpectedly.
Yep.
And to his wife Barb, who I know because she did a lot of stuff with him. Our condolences go out to you. But here's to David Sweet.
David
There
Sweet.
you go.
Do-
Good man.
like-
Cheers, David. Thank you.
Yeah. Saw him at a lot of the events.
Yeah.
We've had great conversations with him.
He's just a super guy.
But yeah,
It's sad when that's that type of stuff. It's 58 years old.
yeah,
It's 58. I don't think that since
How
I'm
old are you
58,
now?
I don't think that.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm 58.
Yeah.
So I don't think that we don't usually just sort of understand that like that you can live for today because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But I was really sorry to see him go.
Yep.
I am going to tell you guys something that I'm not going to announce out to everybody on the radio show. But it's up. It's on if you go to Julio's Liquors events page, it is up because I get some very exciting news. It's a little bit off, a little bit away from now, but I thought it was really important. So David Brune, who is a whiskey writer.
Yeah.
Actually, he is the guy that did the World Atlas of Whiskey. I actually have the book right here. He sent me an advanced copy of it.
Love it.
So this is the updated, more than 500 distilleries profiled and 480 expressions tasted. So David is does a lot of this stuff, and he's doing a book tour coming up this spring, and we're one of the stops.
Love it.
So April 30th, we're at 7:00. We're gonna do a tasting with David. You're gonna basically buy a book, and you get it signed, and you get you walk away with the book, and you actually go through a tasting with David Brune, which is
renowned whiskey writer.
Which
When
is
I first
really cool.
was really getting into whiskey, I was reading a lot of his reviews and
Great stuff.
articles. And
Yeah.
you think that Ryan and I can be verbose? That guy can.
Now
well.
this-
Here's
send out some
the
descriptions.
conundrum. Here's the conundrum. I put him at 7:00, like a regular one that we usually do at 7.
Whiskey
I already told
Wednesday.
a whiskey. It's like it's a whiskey Wednesday.
Yep.
So I put him at 7:00, but I told Nicolad, who does all the scheduling, said, you need to schedule people later because we may not be able to close at 9.
That's true.
And
she was
then I'm
like,
also
just get him off the stage. Right?
no, I'm
Yeah.
not letting.
Yeah.
What I am going to try to set up though is a meet and greet so you can get a book signing
Right.
beforehand. So keep an eye out for that. But we can only do 60 people for the tasting. So if you want to get in on that, it's $55, but you get the book, which is it's $60, but you get the book, which is $60.
All right.
So
Only
All right.
59 slots left.
just saying. Randall, very exciting times coming up.
Okay.
All right, it's the Liquor Talking right here on WCRN. Very exciting times coming up because guess what? Go Whiskey Week is around the corner. It's the last week of
Yes.
February. Running from
We're almost a month out, right?
we're running from February 24th to March 2nd is going to be Whiskey Week this year, and we're already popping some of the events are already starting to show up. So I
Right.
wanted to make sure everybody knew about that. The first event, which is going to be on Monday, February 24th, is an elevated redbreast tasting.
Really?
Yes.
So everybody's going to have to sit on a booster seat.
Yes, they are, except for
Okay.
you.
All right.
At 6'7", you do not have to sit on a booster seat. I'm not going to make you do that. But this is a
What does elevated mean
It's-
in your terminology?
in our terminology, elevated means that we're not going to just try the core
line.
lineup. Okay, elevated means
Special.
you're going to try stuff, and I'm going to give you the lineup.
Okay.
All right, I will tell you right now. I put this out last night, and there is only room for 50 people. 11 tickets already sold.
Yeah.
So
Redbreast, great Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
A lot of big fans out there. But what do we got that's
I'm missing one here. There is another one here, but it's let me give it to you. We're going to do Redbreast 15.
Yep.
That's the first one. We're starting at the 15, right? 15, 18, Redbreast 21, Redbreast 27.
Yeah.
We're going to do the Redbreast American Oak, the Missouri Oak, which is a limited edition, and we're doing the Redbreast PX edition. We're also doing the Middleton Very Rare Vintage, the 2023. And then we're also doing the
Mystery.
Jameson 18.
Oh, you didn't print that one.
Yeah, that one came off.
So Redbreast
So-
made at the Jameson facility, which is called Middleton. So there's going to be a couple other things in addition to the.
So we're going to do
Redbreast.
8. Maeve Gleason is going to come and do the tasting with us. It's $45 to go, but you walk out with a bottle of Jameson Black. That's
The
sort
Black
of
Barrel.
the Black Barrel.
Yeah.
And so
One of my favorites. from
it's
Arizona.
it's actually really good. We may switch it. We're advertising as black. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little bit secret. They came out with a new like triple. They came out with a new whiskey, and we may swap that in because then everybody would get the new whiskey that's out. But you're not. I love black, the
Black Barrel,
Jameson Black. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But you're definitely gonna get your money's worth. This is gonna be like a sort of a high end tasting. I would not, if you're a Jameson or an Irish whiskey fan, I would not wait on this one.
Or you have somebody in your
'Cause it's already
family
11
that you
sold.
want to give a gift to and
That's
sign
fine.
that
Yeah,
up.
give it like a
because
birthday or something like
It's
that.
going to go pretty quickly. You have to sign up. There is a fee for it.
Yes,
but
it's
you-
it's $45, but it's a $45 you're going to get basically a $45 bottle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're walking out with what you're paying for, but you get to go to this like high
Taste
end
some stuff that you can't
elevated
norm-
Randall,
Right,
elevated
exactly. I don't
tasting.
know.
It's one of the few times you're going to be able to try the Redbreast 21 or 27.
27.
Those
Those
are
are really
open
never
for-
open. So this is
Yeah.
going to be a really good one. Now,
Cool. And that's it. That's the whole week, right?
that's the first day.
Okay.
The second day is now already up that you can get. It's not on our site. You got to go to Fireflies. So go to firefliesbbq.com or Vinny will put it up on the Facebook
All right.
page. I'm
Contain
sure.
yourself, John. I know that this.
This John is actually like he's like a kid before Christmas. He's very, very excited about this. We're gonna do we've been doing, of course, the dinners at Fireflies. We're gonna do a Scotch whiskey dinner, 5 courses, 5 whiskeys, special, and there's some special stuff going on. Dr. Rachel Barry, the blender of the year 2024. The
and John
blender
Hendricks, super fan.
wait a minute, the blender who came out with not one, but 2 of the whiskeys in the top 10 whiskeys by Whiskey Advocate. She had number 1 and number 10. That's virtually unheard of. As
Okay,
having
again.
2 there. She is going to be our guest of honor for this tasting. It is worth the price of admission just to go to meet Dr. Rachel Barry. She's amazing. You guys are going to have a great time. We're going to do the food, which is usually $85. We usually do the dinners for like $85. This one is $100, but you're going to end up with a Benriach tasting kit, which is 4 different like nips of whiskey.
It's their core range.
The core range, and a Glendronach because she's the master blender for Glendronach, Benriach and also Glenn Glasgow.
Right.
So she's the master. So you're going to get a tulip tasting glass, and you're going to get that, which is, by the way, is like almost a $40 value if you just got this separately for basically the extra $15. So that's why
So
it's
$100. This is Tuesday. What date is that? The 20.
That's the 25th.
Okay.
You would get me on that one.
But you have to go to the Fireflies website to sign up. And by the way, I've been
Yeah.
creeping on their menu selection.
Yeah.
They're going to do some Scottish fare, but with their own unique barbecue Fireflies twist on some of the Scottish fare. And the menu's looking pretty amazing.
Awesome.
We'll see how it develops, but they're doing some experimental batches, and I volunteered to go down there just to make sure.
Just to help them out.
On track.
Just to
and
make
ready
sure
for the
it tastes
event.
all right.
Do quality control.
Yeah. Yeah.
5 courses, 5 whiskeys, and we don't have the whiskey list, but there's going to be a couple very special whiskeys in there too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So if you're into Scotch, or you're into barbecue, or both,
Or
this
you're
is
into Dr. Rachel Berry.
yeah.
John.
Well, that's John. We might have to sit John in the back on this one.
I've enjoyed
But-
her work for many, many years.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's for
it's
sure.
real. It's real. The stuff she's coming out with is phenomenal.
Yeah.
We've been big fans for years, and we've been. I'm just going to point this out. We've been trying to get her for 4 years.
And she's slippery. She
Like
is
just trying to get her because we
evaded us
want to
at
honor.
every turn.
We want to honor her. I mean, we've been trying for 4 years, and last year when she won, she won. So Whiskey Advocate, she wins 2 of the top 10, including number 1, right? And then for Whiskey Magazine, she wins Blender of the Year. I'm like, we're never gonna get her.
Right.
Yeah. So
We're never gonna get her. And this is the year we get her.
in all honesty, because of that, so I did not allow myself to get excited until yesterday because now we are exactly 1 month out.
There you go.
So like I was like, this could still not happen because you've tried so many times.
I know. So this looks like everything's coming down. Keep an eye out. I'll probably have a bottle signing, and I'm definitely going to be interviewing her.
And that's it. So you have the Red
That-
Breast tasting Monday.
Yep.
Then the Fireflies at Tuesday. And
Tuesday.
then
That's all we
we're
have
done.
out so far. I'm going to give you guys what's coming up because I think that's fair. Wednesday is Simon Brookings. We're going to do Lafroig.
Yep.
Thursday is going to be a Pappy Van Winkle B-Tech tasting that we do every year. So you're going to taste all 11 of the B-Techs and the Pappy Van Winkles.
Yep.
That's Thursday night. Friday night, our good friend Macaulay is coming down.
Yep.
Is doing the dark arts for Friday. Saturday, the first event will be Breakfast in Asia.
Yep.
So we start at 9:00. Then we do our radio show.
And that's backed by Hodling again. with
Yeah, Hodling is doing. We're
Cavalon
going to do Cavalon and Nika
Nika. Awesome.
over at the Mandarin across the street. So we start at 9:00 because you can't drink all day unless you start in the morning.
Right.
And we're going to be doing that. We do the radio show. Then we start seminar Saturday. First seminar is going to be Bullet. Second seminar is going to be Compass Box. Third seminar is the triumphant return of our good friend David Blackmore
Oh,
with Glenn Morangi is
Nice.
the last seminar. Then Saturday night we have the meet and greet, which is Saturday. Which is Saturday. This is like insane. Saturday, and then Sunday is the Grand Dram. And I should say on Saturday there's going to be two extra seminars done by classes. I should say done by Randall J. Bird.
Yes.
Those are going to be up there. Those are in between the other seminars. So you'll be able to, you can't do everything. So, but Randall's doing 2 classes on Saturday.
We're staggering the seminars, so you're not staggering.
That's right.
to
That's
the
right. And then
VIP tasting.
we are going to have lunch here on the main floor on Saturday. We'll have like pizzas and something like that. And that's sponsored
I'm
by,
scheduled before or after.
oh, you're scheduled during, because I don't want you
No,
eating all the
no.
pizza.
Okay.
That's going to be sponsored by New Riff.
Okay.
The whole kit and caboodle is powered by Benriach.
Yeah.
And
wow.
the water, our official water sponsor is Icelandic Glacial,
Sponsored by Iceland.
sponsored by Iceland. They're our official thing. Oh my God, I got to tell you something funny. So yesterday, Sid texts me and she goes, "Dad, everybody here loves Icelandic glacial water." He said, "You should tell your friend Kenny."
Right.
So I sent it to him. He's like, "Oh my God, that's so awesome." I go, "That's a nice demographic to have.
Yeah, exactly.
That 18-year-old demographic and college
'Cause
kids.
they'll
Are you kidding
grow
me?
up with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's a good demographic. But they are official water sponsor for this year's Go Whiskey Week.
Love
Very
it.
nice.
So Everybody's moving forward.
So you're,
Everybody's going.
a month out.
Next-
but
ne-
things
next week I'm
start
gonna
to
set
close
more.
up. This is the thing.
You've
If
gotta
you're-
pay
If you're
attention.
hearing something and you
Yeah.
think, well, I'll wait until like the week before, it's
Don't.
going to be closed out.
I don't have everything down, but probably next week there'll be another, like there'll be more
Block of-
events being like put out there for people to get. I just told you, I just put last night at like 5 o'clock. We just put the Redbreast out. I just talked to John about it. 11 tickets are already gone. So
This is how I found this place, you know. So
Is
it
it?
was 2007 and 2008. That was when it was just Whiskey A Go Go on a Sunday.
yeah, we
That-
have one event, one day, one event.
That was my first time here, and I never left. I've been here ever since.
Well, it's the cot in the back that really
Well, you're
worries
also-
us, John.
You're
It's the
hanged
cot
in the
back.
basement here.
It's
So.
the cot in the back
Yeah.
that really worries us. But the whole thing is basically this is a Go Whiskey Week. This is the if you just take the last two events that we do, the meet and greet and the Grand Dram. The Grand Dram will have about 70 something tables. That's usually where we end up, somewhere in there.
And there's liquor on the tables.
Yeah, there is.
Oh.
Usually over 300 different whiskeys available to sample. You can't, of course, sample them all. Although I've had a couple people try, and they didn't like the ride home they got. So, but it's the biggest whiskey festival in
It's
New
amazing.
England.
It's
In
amazing.
in New England,
Yeah,
because there's something every day.
it's a whiskey lover's dream.
So
that's why
the,
I
the
haven't
people
left.
who do the best kind of strategize this whole thing.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you a
Map
good
out the
strategy.
week, but also when you're there, you're going to get a wristband, so you're going to get limited amounts
Limited
of pours
amounts.
because it's not just a free-for-all drunk fest. But if you're with a couple friends, you can kind of game how you're going to taste and how you're going to get the maximum amount of discussions and tasting experiences and classes and all that stuff. But you have to come with a plan. Just showing up, I feel like people are
Here's the best thing I
already
can give you.
behind the eight ball.
Do both Saturday and Sunday. We usually do them like around $50 a person to do them. You get $20 back in a gift card plus a souvenir glass, right? The same people that are downstairs on Saturday will be downstairs on Sunday. So you
can
basically
eliminate
break the
them.
thing into two sections,
Yeah.
and you can hit a lot more stuff. All right, and you do it over 2 days. All right. All right, Randall, take us out of it.
It's the liquor talking. We'll still be talking on the other side of this commercial break, but you're listening to WCRN, and we'll be broadcasting live on Facebook Live. If you want to see what this,
We're gonna do
looks like.
Facebook Live too.
I think so.
All right, let's do that.
I don't know. I can't confirm that, but if you look, we might be there.
All right.
Please stay tuned.
Okay. So the only thing we're not doing today is we're not drinking enough.
So I was gonna say, speaking of liquor, there's not too much.
So-
there's too much
so
talking going on.
I'm gonna do this. Dan was by, the master blender for Penelope was by, and he left a bottle of the new Weeded that's coming out. This is a 95 proof Weeded that they're coming out, 4 grain, still a 4 grain, but lays heavily into the wheat. This is only going to be like under $40.
The price point on this was
I thought it was really good.
pretty awesome for you're getting major bang for your buck. on
Give that
one.
to.
Yeah, I was talking to some folks. There's a lot of people chasing very hard to get weeded
Well, I'm going to give you.
bourbons that are expensive because it's become a popular style, but this is sounding like this
he-
should deliver on both price and
Yeah,
the
here
taste.
he actually told me. Danny told me a couple things. They've been trying to do this for a couple of years, but didn't have the sort of supply enough to do this.
Yep.
And so now they do. So now they're going to. And I think if he can keep this under $40, just try it. See what you guys think.
I really like this one. It's just an easy drinker.
So this is what weeded bourbon is supposed to be. It's easy drinking. There's a lot of good toffees and caramels and stuff in there.
Soft.
And I had one person that had it, and they were like, "Yeah, but it's only 95 proof." I'm like, "Okay,
So
it's like, yeah, so." I mean, I get
think
it if you're gonna
people
do
have
like a
got- so
mixed drink or something, or
one of the classes that I'm going to be doing is called the proof is in the put in.
Yeah.
So how it comes out of the barrel at X amount of strength, but what you proof it down to can have a profound effect on the flavor. So while by law it has to be at least 40%,
right.
right? Most people hang in the 45 to 46 if they don't want to chill filtration it because it has some properties that will allow it to not cloud up at that
Yeah.
higher level. And then all these people have gone nuts for the most high proof, biggest numbers, and they're losing actual taste
Right.
because it's too high. So we'll explore how the different proof strengths can be moderated or But there's a lot of fantastic production whiskeys that are dialed in right to where they should be
I mean,
tasted at.
Danny and I were talking about it, and we're going to try some of those other whiskeys in the show. But Danny and I were talking about it, and he's like, I brought him to where they taste the best.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's the guy who's telling you, I've tried it at different ones. This is how I want you to drink it because this is where it tastes the best.
Cool.
I think it's good. I
It's
think it's going to
delicious.
give some Wellers a run for their money,
Yeah.
especially at $40.
Yeah.
And probably available.
Well, that's the thing. Hopefully it's going to be available. All right, we're going to do I'll do the larceny question of the show.
Yeah.
All right. So when we come back, we'll do the larceny question of the show. And here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to It's the Liquor Talking right here on WCRN AM 830. And you know what? It's time for the larceny question of the show, Randall Bird.
All right.
All right. So here it is. What American distilled apple brandy is the star of the 1920s cocktail, the Jack Rose?
Oh, jeez.
I was just talking to Bill this week from Jack Rose
Yeah.
Dining
Jack Rose, a famous whiskey bar. And,
yeah. It's named
in
after
DC.
this. Yes.
And
it's
the
a famous-
Jack Rose,
The cocktail. What American distilled apple brandy is the star of the 1920s cocktail?
I know
the
that,
Jack
and
Rose?
I cannot put my.
I don't really want to give you the multiple choice because
'Cause it's
I think
gonna
it's
be
I think it's
apparent,
so apparent which one it is.
I believe it begins with an M.
You do?
Does it begin with an L?
No, now I have to try and think of American brandies. Well, we've been thinking about
Right.
whiskey for so many episodes that I've kind of come off this. But it's a very old style brandy that's been around since
Right.
the Revolution.
You are correct. I said I'm gonna put you out of your misery. I'll give you the multiple
As soon as you
choice.
say it, I know I'm going to get it.
A, Calvados. B, White Lightning. C, Applejack. D, Mott's.
Got it.
Oh, okay. So it's a style, not a brand.
Yeah.
But-
What American distilled apple brandy is the star of the 1920s cocktail, the Jack Rose? I don't think I said. brand.
No. But I mean, there's a famous maker.
There
There's
is
not
a
many people
Laird's-
who make
Laird's Applejack.
Laird's
That's where I was going.
That's
makes
what you're thinking of.
Applejack,
Yeah.
Right.
and it is Applejack,
Yeah.
which is actually not distilled, but is jacked, meaning that they've dropped the temperature and pulled the water out by
I don't know if they
freezing it out.
Do they still do that?
They don't do it anymore,
More.
but that
They actually
was
that
the-
was original.
right. So
How you would make Applejack? You want to explain to people how you would make like
you make an
traditionally
apple
how-
cider.
Right.
It's going to get to a low proof strength through natural fermentation.
Right.
So you get a little bit of a buzz like drinking cider would do. And then to increase the alcohol, you have to remove the water so that the percentage of alcohol to water
Changes.
changes, right? And so traditionally in distillation, they boil or heat the alcohol to 174 degrees Fahrenheit. It comes out of suspension from the water and they leave the water behind.
Right. That's a
In
proper
jacking-
distillation. Jacking is a different process.
When you freeze it at certain temperatures, the water will freeze, but the alcohol won't because it has a different freezing point than the alcohol.
So you're
just
basically
has a
pouring
different
off alcohol.
boiling point. And well, you're just removing the ice.
Removing the ice,
skimming
and
the ice or
skimming the
doing
ice
whatever.
off. All right, and that's the way to do it.
And that's how you increase the portion of alcohol to it. But it's
I don't think
a style
anybody
that
on
probably
Facebook
is,
got that
is
one.
Interesting.
doing that. So you could jack whiskey, but just
Right.
people don't have the equipment or the time or the energy to do it.
Yeah, because you
But-
could have probably done it this last week here with the temperature being so cold. But other than that,
I think there's.
Could
like
you really do
there's-
it?
There's beers I think that are made that way too.
they'll make
like
yeah,
ice,
ice bock. They,
And then
Yeah,
the
but
same.
it's just
There's
it's
wine too. I
right.
think that does that.
It's not really efficient. Let's put
Right.
it that way.
Yeah.
It's not as
but
efficient
in,
as distillation.
In cold New England winters,
Winters,
for
you could
example,
do
back
stuff,
in the
right,
day, you just put it out and then at certain points harvest the ice out of it and increase the proof strength without all that mishigas with the heating and boiling
Interesting.
and moving it around.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you learned something today, Randall Bird.
Yeah, well, you learned about jacking, and hopefully it's not going to get you in trouble with your parents.
Yeah, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Why is my vodka freezing in my freezer, Randall? Can you explain that to me?
We
Vodka
had-
should not
this is
freeze.
kind of a, to
Look
me,
at that.
I think it's a funny story. Is that working for a company, and they were getting returns on the vodka saying that when they put it in the freezer,
It actually
it was
froze.
freezing. And the mystery solved. We had the murder board with the
Well,
string
you have the strength. Did you
and
use the
everything,
strength?
and we figured the whole thing out. And all these people had high school students living at home. So has anyone from the audience figured this out yet?
Yep, they're adding water.
They managed to get the cap off without looking like they broke the seal, drank the vodka, and then refilled it back up with water. Now, meanwhile, they took it off the back porch or wherever and put it in the freezer for
Right.
summer drinks, and it froze. But it was leaving the warehouse and everything at the 40%, which should not be able to freeze in
yeah, it didn't
normal
freeze.
freezing conditions that you'd have.
You
in
have
your
freezer at
refrigerator.
home,
Yeah,
anyways, right?
right.
All right.
So all of them had a teenager in the house, and we were able to figure out that this is probably what happened.
This
Although
is-
the parents were convinced not.
Yeah,
Our
you guys took
beloved
care of him
son or
anyways,
daughter.
right? You took care of him
They're-
anyways.
Our angels
Not
would
my
never
kid.
mess
Not
with
my
our
kid.
whiskey. You're right.
Or vodka.
Yeah.
Odorless, colorless, tasteless. It's pretty close to water. All right. So this is brand new. We are releasing a barrel release today. This one is Maker's Mark. Is the private selection. We've been doing these for a while now. This one is called Second Curtain. And this is the last time we will be doing this particular stave combination. You want to explain how the
For
stave
realsies.
for realsies? You want to explain how the stave combination
So
works with this?
you basically open up a barrel of Makers, take the end cap off, and then they put slats. I know that people don't like to call it a stave because the stave is technically
Right.
the curved barrel thing, but slats of wood, almost like a Venetian blind kind of thing, that have been toasted, cut, roasted to give different
ways.
flavors. So
They
let's
give
say you had a palette of 5 or 6 different flavors that you could pick, and you have 10 slats. You could pick your proportion, and you could pick whatever you did. Over time, they've ruled out some of those flavors.
So
And we've been grandfathered in
Right.
because they no longer do it, but they still had a couple in the back of the warehouse that they still had, so they let us kind of keep running the same recipe. Not new people. People couldn't
no,
take
you got to be
those.
grandfathered in to do
And
this.
this is the very last of the last.
Last of the last. And I was like, I had put out the other day that it was the 8th barrel that we had done with this particular stave combination.
Right.
And
couldn't even tell you what.
Megazone corrected me right away and said, no, it's the 9th.
Yeah.
And here's what it went from. It started as Codex,
Uh-huh.
Codex Redux, Triple X, If It Ain't Baroque, Mystery Machine Rides Again, The Reveal, which is the first time we actually
Put
told
the stave
people
combination on
told
the
people
bottle.
what staves we were using,
Because at that point, it was grandfathered.
grandfathered. And then we did Encore. That's 8, right?
Right.
So the 9th one is Second Curtain. So the stave combination on this one is we didn't use any baked American Pure 2,
Right.
which is one of the ones you can use. We used 2 staves of Seared French Cuvée. We used 4 staves of Maker's Mark 46, which is their proprietary
Right.
sort of stave that they used to make Maker's 46. And then we used 3 French Mocha, which is the one you cannot get anymore.
Right.
That's the one that's been discontinued. And 1 toasted French spice. So these 10 staves make up what was put back into the barrel. And this is the last one. It's called Second Curtain. This is it. We're not going to do any
After
more of
the
these.
encore, you
They've
have your
all
second
sold
curtain.
out. They're all gone. Every barrel is sold out of this. It was very, very popular. I will tell you this. Other stave combinations, there was 1,001 stave combinations. This is the one that we came about. There had only been one other person that had done this particular stave combination. It was like a bar in Reno, Nevada, and they were the only other ones that had done this. So we that's why we kept it a secret, because we really liked it.
Yeah.
Everybody loved it.
They did one and done, though.
They
And
had
then-
one and done.
and
They
then
were
they
never
did-
going to do it again.
Right.
We kept doing it over and over again. So this is the last one. And I will let you guys know, we're still going to keep doing Maker's Mark Private Selection, but we're going to do the stave combination that we did for Steve Eulis and the people down at Fireflies. So it's going to be the Pitmaster Prime series.
Right.
And so we're going to continue doing that series, and this one will fall off. So
Just because it's run the natural course of
yeah, we've
getting
done
those
it.
staves. So
Yeah, we would either be doing this or a new one. And I said, you know what? Let's let this one run off. Let's do the Pitmaster Prime, because I want Fireflies to have that
Right.
at the
Specifically
restaurant.
paired for some barbecue
Barbecue.
flavors at their restaurant, but still a delicious pour as well. So
And I
second curtain.
You guys,
I know the people on the radio can't see, but I love the look of the new bottles.
so
in this
they
one.
so here's the funny part. We have been through I don't even want to know how many bottle changes. So our last one is the new bottle that Maker's Mark
Yeah.
Private Select is using. So we've been through, I think, like 3 or 4
iterations.
bottle changes
Yeah.
doing the same stave combination.
I really
So-
like this new one because it looks like it's like hand blown glass, but it's not.
Yeah,
It's
the
yeah.
packaging on it's great, but what I really like is what's inside.
Of course.
We'll
that's
have this
important.
open, so John will
That's
have
what's
this in the
important.
Frisky Whiskey Wagon. So if you come into the store, you'll be able to try this before you buy it. What do you guys
And
think?
it's yeah.
I love it.
The glass is as textured as the nuances of flavor, and
I mean, this is good. I mean, I'm sorry to really sort of see this.
Yeah,
one go.
every time I try this one, it's a reminder of like.
I'm hoping I'm
it's
going to
still
get a
good.
phone call going like, "We found 3 more" or something like that. We can do it again, but I don't think that's gonna. I think we're at the end of the leg on this one. I think that's sort of.
do you
that's
think
it.
that there's somebody who's like, well, wait, I did find a couple more, and they're like, just
Stop
destroy
it?
it.
Don't even tell them.
don't even get those out of
At
the
this
back. of
point,
them.
yeah, at this point, don't even tell them. But I mean, it's done a really great. I think when people try this one, they're going to love this one. But
Slight differences between each one, but it's
yeah,
still
but
a
it's very,
consistent
very
core
close.
line of flavor.
So we've done 3 now, right? So we've got our version, then there's the Pitmaster Prime, and there was Rock Around Town. As
Rock
well.
Around Town
Was
was
another
another one
one.
we did too.
Yeah, which was
So
also
we might throw
fantastic.
that one in there another time because Steve Eulis worked on that one with us, so we may throw that as
That was
as
a really good
another
one.
one out
It was
there.
a really
but
popular one. People. have
it was
come back for
really
yeah.
it was really popular. So
Do you know?
never know-
as a
you never say
musician, do you know
never,
why
John.
It's called Rock Around Town
I don't.
go ahead, Randall.
because the barrel stave combination was 1-4-5,
Oh, that's
which
the chord
is
pattern.
which is a rock chord progression.
Yeah.
Don't tell the 2-5-1 jazz heads out there. We're gonna get a
And
fight.
by the way, we made it so you would do a Bouvier, which was Man About Town. So
Yeah,
they sort of
right,
like
Rock
get
Around
combined
Town.
in there.
I get
So
it. I get it. That's awesome.
people always ask us how we get the names. They go, it's pretty stupid, but it works for us. All right, so we're gonna come. We're going on break. I'm sorry, I gotta pick something out first to go on break. Do you guys want? What do you guys want to drink?
Is there a Manhattan in there?
There's an old fashioned in there.
There is an old
Old-fashioned?
fashioned in there, right?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
like
the-
it's right in the middle
Is
underneath.
that this
all
one? This one?
That's it.
Yeah. All right, we'll do that during the break. All right. All right, we're ready to go out of here. Randall, take us out.
We're going to a break, and we'll be
Thanks.
back after the break. And please stay with us
Wise guy.
as the show falls apart on the air.
All right. So we've been trying some of these. This is the Via Carota or the Carrot Road. These are pre-mixed cocktails. So you guys wanted to try this one?
He was just in here last weekend doing another tasting out on the floor.
Was he? Did you try any of them? They're doing really well.
They are doing very well.
This is
I've
the old
tried all
fashioned.
Yeah, I've tried all the ones that we've done here with you,
Right.
which I thoroughly enjoy those. Now
Let's try this.
this might have
This is the old fashioned.
being an old fashioned, and if you're watching a football game, tying it back to sports, you don't have time to run into the kitchen and make that cocktail.
Well, that's when like cocktails are really good. I'm doing the whole,
Really? No time to make
No
a
time.
cocktail.
not during the
You
football
don't have a
not
bar
during the
cart
game.
by the TV
Not-
to like
not-
mix it up
Not
while
during
you're.
the game.
This is okay, if I can read it there, 30.5 ABV. So this is a
Smell the
full
orange.
drink. So this is a full drink. Anybody want to come take this? You guys can take. I love the packaging on
Yeah,
this.
I've been
this
instructed
thing.
to try and get any empty bottles
Any empty bottles? Well, that one will be empty
for a
soon
Bud
enough.
Vase project that I have to work on.
So this is the old fashioned. Smells good. It's got
Very
a good,
orange,
great,
yeah.
great nose on it. I'm doing the whole like accoutrement tomorrow. So
Yeah,
Jen's making food. We got some wings going. We got some
I love it.
shrimp cocktail going. I'm doing Bloody Marys, so I bought some.
Oh,
bought
I
the
thought you were
pickles.
talking about equipment.
No,
Accoutrement.
accoutrement.
And it's not even the Super Bowl yet. It's just
not even.
It's just the championship.
This,
All
you know,
right,
I'm gonna
so-
say something right now. This is like the Super Bowl. This is better than the Super Bowl. I think.
Why?
Because the
'Cause the
the
te- the
Bills
quality
and the
of teams.
KC
Yeah.
playing.
Is this the
It's-
big rivalry?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
it is because no one wants KC back in there. Thank
Well,
you.
All right.
Well-
So when is the Super Bowl?
Sunday,
3 weeks.
February
Very
9th.
ninth.
Can we do my favorite version of the Bloody Mary for the show, where each of us comes up with a crazy topping. This is the Canadian style, where you put like a taco on the top of the Bloody Mary or a hamburger.
A Bloody
Or
Mary. I was
a-
explaining to my daughter who's just turned 21, and I ordered a Bloody Mary, and I go, a Bloody Mary can consist of anything from tomato juice with salt and pepper in it and vodka to basically a afternoon meal with a hamburger sitting on the top of it.
I already know what
I
I would
like
do
the
with mine.
garnish to me is the key, but I think we should have a garnish
It
off.
really depends upon the teams that are in there, right? So you're down to 4 teams. You've got Buffalo, Kansas City, which is known for barbecue, right?
Yep.
You've got Philly, which is known for cheesesteaks, and DC,
I'm
Maryland, crab cakes.
or I'm gonna do mine is gonna be game day. So it's gonna be skewers of game meat.
Yeah, the only thing that I would
Like
almost
venison
I would
or whatever.
almost
So I don't
agree
have
to
to know
this.
who's in it. I can do a generic.
Has anybody ever seen Randall cook or prepare anything?
I'm a master of the sous
I
vide,
would
the slow cook.
I have to say, I've seen him, and he's good. Like Randall works with his hands all the time, and he starts putting stuff together, and I go, I don't really know if I want to eat that.
Is this coming back to the treasure salad?
Yes.
There's whatever.
What do you think of this?
We will let the
Vita
audience
Carota?
or other people vote on the. Can we do this Bloody Mary off
Sure, we can do
Sure.
Bloody Mary
for,
next
for
week. Sure.
that?
Sure.
Just before that
Yeah.
event? Okay. Whatever.
When I
it's
bring in
called,
a whole
Super Bowl.
roasted chicken and put it on top
Super
of
Bowl.
Bloody
Do it.
Mary.
I dare you.
Super
Dude,
Bowl of
double
chicken.
dog, Jeremy.
Super Bowl of chicken.
So I went through a tiny cooking phase,
Yes, I remember this.
and my Thanksgiving meal was about the size of
You're like a
a
Cornish
coffee
game
mug.
hen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with-
Literally
with
tiny.
stuff. Yeah, it was tiny, and the pie was again tiny.
This is actually pretty good
I like
old
it.
fashioned.
yeah,
like
yeah, we're getting
like a
off
pretty
it.
no, but this is a pretty good old fashioned if you just like you don't want to do that.
I
I mean,
would-
there's a whole group of these like things coming out now. Vita Carota is a really good one.
Really correct.
The top tip top
Tip Top is another
is a
one.
really good one. They're gonna come on the show coming up. So I'm getting them
All right.
on the show because they get some stuff. All right, let's go back. I already gave it to them.
Did they have it?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to It's the Liquor Talking. We got a couple things that I wanted to get to. Do you want to try that Penelope? So, Randall, would you pour this out? We're going to do 3 separate ones for everybody. And
Oh,
while you're
boy.
doing that, while you're getting that ready, I am going to do a gen file.
Okay.
Yeah, do it. The PX Sherry is last.
Oloroso was.
Oloroso
I'm
was first.
That's
That's
PX.
last. So that's last. Yeah, go the other way.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm gonna
everybody.
need more cups.
So, as you know, Jennifer has pulled stuff for us to talk about during the show. We haven't done a gen file in a while, but this one was actually pretty cool. She gave me it's Hello Kitty wine packaging banned from UK. The Italian producer has been banned from selling its Hello Kitty themed wine in the UK in its current packaging after a complaint was upheld by the Portman Group. So basically, you guys can see it, but it's a wine bottle with a Hello Kitty on it.
Wow.
It's
Was that?
I mean it's a pretty simple.
I'm sorry. Nothing rivals your Hello Kitty, Pappy.
Well, yeah, that's another one. That's Hello Kitty soda that we mixed. So, the Alcohol Injuries Independent Complaints Panel has banned Hello Kitty from being sold in the UK. Produced by an Italian wine company, Tortiti Wine, based in Lombardy. The wine's front label depicts the popular Japanese cartoon character sporting her trademark large red bow. During the hearing, they argued that Hello Kitty appeals to all ages, including mothers and grandmothers, and disagreed that it was a children's brand. This is a great quote. Hello Kitty wines are for adult consumption and sold only in places that own an alcohol license, said the wine company. This is to protect and correctly sell Hello Kitty wine in places where minors don't have access. All right. What do you need?
Cups.
Oh, I need more cups. Okay, hold on. Here's some more cups. There you go. Hello Kitty is blah, 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 blah. Let's go down the thing. Now they said in this case it was clear that from the producer's response that it hadn't intended to market the Hello Kitty wine to children. As an overseas producer, they were unaware of the self-regulatory system that we have in place in the UK to enforce responsible marketing and protect consumers, particularly those of under 18. So they basically banned Hello Kitty. I don't.
All right, here's my question: stealth enclosure
I'll tell you in a
or
second.
cork? Because no child can
You're
get
right.
a freaking cork out of a bottle.
It's cork.
It
It's a
doesn't
cork.
matter, right?
It looks like a cork. It does look like a cork.
a
Like it's
kid
cork.
gets attracted to the bottle, and then they're done. They get the bottle. They can't open it. They can't do anything.
Do you realize?
I know adults that can't open corks
Do you know
out of
that
a bottle. I might be one of them.
as of 2022, it is estimated Hello Kitty is estimated to have generated 84.5 billion in sales.
Right.
So I can see why they wanted to put the Hello Kitty on there.
Sure.
Hello, will you sell it? Will you say Hello Kitty in the right proper way?
Hello Kitty.
There you go.
That's the Animaniacs version, but
All right. So now that you've poured everything, I can go. We can get disperse
all
with
right.
the Hello Kitty.
So
thing.
this is going in the order that.
Right.
Okay. So just
So Penelope, a lot of people are familiar with their whiskeys, especially their bourbons and ryes, right? They've been doing different finishes. It was started by Mike and Danny, and believe it or not, in New Jersey, and they created this brand, Penelope, named after Mike's daughter, and they got bought out by one of the big by Luxco, which now owns MGP,
Right.
and as basically the innovative arm of the company now. So they're
Right.
the innovation sort of factor. So they came up with this Project X that they're starting. There's only about 300 barrels for the entire country. All right. And they did the same. What I love about this, Randall, they did the same batch of whiskey. So they made one whiskey and then finished it 3 different ways. And so the premise of our Whiskey Wednesday this past Wednesday was we were going to pick one of the Project X. He came in, sent us in samples, which they don't really do. They don't do it. You have to go there to do this. But since Danny was coming up here, he brought samples and says we'll do it here with you guys. We had like 40 people in the room, and so we're gonna basically pick our barrel of this. The funny part is you sort of had a choice. You only had to pick 20 cases of this, but you could do 40. So you could do 20 cases, or if you wanted to, because they're bigger batches there, because the barrels they're using are bigger barrels than the 53, because they're doing cherries, they're doing
right.
sherries and
Oloroso PX,
cognacs,
yeah, that's
which
an
are bigger
American
barrels,
standard, and most
Right.
European sides are bigger.
and they're bigger. So he had blended this stuff up, so you could do 20 cases or you could do 40 cases. So my question before we started even tasting was, if it comes down to it, could I do 20 cases of one and 20 cases of the other? Because I'm trying to pick whiskey for 40 people with 40
Yeah.
people in the room. It's a little like herding
Yeah,
cats, if you know what I
honestly,
mean, right?
It's going to be madness.
So I asked Dan, and Dan's like, yeah, absolutely. Sure, and which I'm like, well, great. Now I got 2 barrels and I got 2 different expressions, which is going to be awesome.
And still fighting over which ones.
And still fighting. We're still going to fight. So I have before you the 3 barrels that we samples that we had to try. So did you try them all, Randall?
I've just started with the first one,
No,
and that's the
The
Oloroso.
Oloroso.
yeah.
And then the middle one. So the middle one is a cognac, but the cognac was actually aged with vanilla beans.
Yeah, because this smells a lot more like an Ambrose.
It does exactly.
Right.
So it
Yeah.
smells like cinnamon toast crunch, right?
Right.
And so like I didn't trust myself when we did this because I was like, there's no way that this is a cognac.
Right.
So that's what I thought on first sip. On second sip, I'm like, okay, there's no way that this is just cognac.
Right.
And that's when I kind of asked, and he was like, oh yeah, this is also
It
barrel was
also-
seasoned in vanilla.
Vanilla
first.
had real vanilla beans in
And
it.
I thought that was amazing because it tastes amazing, right? So there's definitely 3 there. So it's not just
And then last
So
one
they
was the
made a
PX
large
Sherry.
batch, so everything's consistent. Let's
Everything-
say hundreds of barrels, but made this batch.
One batch.
Right. Then they split that, and they went into a series of Oloroso, the first one we tasted.
Yep.
A series of these French
Cognac.
cognac cask
Cognac.
with vanilla.
Bean
Okay,
influence.
and then the last one is now we've gone over to Spain.
Yeah, it's a PX. Well, they both are the PX. That's an Oloroso and that's a PX.
Right. We
Sherry.
started with a different style of sherry.
Right, which is so Oloroso is sort of a dry sherry. A PX is a sweet sherry.
Yeah.
So now you have these three distinct things. So here I am. So I start gauging people. Okay, what do you like? Da da da. Da. And then we get to the point. I go, okay, who likes the Oloroso Sherry? And about almost half the people raised their hand. And I said, who likes the PX Sherry? And basically the other half of the room raised their hand. We were pretty evenly divided, but I asked who liked the cognac, and we had 40 people. I
And
would
the
say
other half
like,
of the room.
well, yeah, the other half. I would say probably
The
about
third
like
half.
8 people raised their hand which is still a pretty good.
And you got to remember,
Still
they were
pretty
trying to
good.
just pick one,
We're trying to pick one.
right? So like,
So I put Danny on the spot,
Right.
and I
I
said,
instantly know. This is why we have a handler, Ryan.
yeah, I know.
Whenever we go places,
Yeah.
this is why they assign.
So-
So I go to Danny. I go, would it be possible to do all three?
Right.
I switched the question back to the crowd and I said, who would not want all
All
three?
three.
And only 2 people raised their hands. So
That
like,
would not want all three.
yeah,
like
the
yeah,
vast
if I could get
majority
it.
wanted all because they are all outstanding on their own. So
So, needless to say, we have, and of course, you talk about a handler. The rep
Just
for
freaking out,
Luxco
right? Yeah. It's
is like his head's
crying
spinning.
anymore.
He's like,
Right? He's like, you don't understand how this. Like he's even yelling. You don't know how to understand how this works. We can't do it that way. We're gonna get killed. And Danny just goes like this. He goes, sure.
Yeah.
Because he's like, why wouldn't we sell another barrel
Right.
if we're already doing this? So the good part is for our customer base and stuff like that is they don't have to go and search. There's only 3 types of barrels. They're different ones, obviously.
Right. There are
but
not
there are only
a fourth
3
or
types of
fifth that
finish.
are out there that we're not looking at.
Right. So
This
there are
is it.
only 3 types of finishes. So instead of going out and trying to find all 3, we're basically going to have all 3. And under my sort of opinion, good,
yeah.
good,
Enjoyed all of them.
right? Good studio audience, good, like them, all right. And so we have that luxury of having all of them, and I think it's really exciting because you and I both love the fact that if you can start with a base product and just show a difference by like a
Right.
finishing,
This
it's
shows
great.
what the actual effect is because the core liquid would always be the control
Right.
the same way.
the same thing. So
Would have liked to see a bottling of just the core liquid.
yeah, that would have been the
But-
only thing. But
yeah.
Randall, I think I pushed my luck
Yeah,
right
exactly.
to the right to the
You're
edge.
already
You know
about
what I
to
mean?
get murdered.
Well, I did get an invite for us to go blending though,
Okay.
so I did get a little something else.
And who doesn't like a good trilogy?
That's it. It's a good trilogy. So these are going to be coming out. This is Project X, and we're going to have 3 different types, and those are coming out, whenever they're done. But I thought it was really cool. All right. All I'm going to say for the end of our show is, go Bills.
Go Bills!
Thank
There we
you
go.
for listening to It's the Liquor Talking, and we'll be back next week.
Although I will be wearing my
Your-
Kansas City,
Your Chiefs
my
jersey?
Chiefs jersey, which
Chiefs-
is now underneath my chair.
Your Chiefs rest jersey?
Where it
My
should
ref
be,
jersey, yeah,
under
where
your
it's at-
feet,
that's
getting
right,
ground
exactly
into
right.
the ground.
All right. Thanks, everybody. You got it.